Going on, Colts Nation? I appreciate you joining me for another video. Where today I want to talk about one of our draft picks, the second round pick, Adonai Mitchell. Somebody that a lot of Colts fans very excited about, me included. Now, before the draft, I am noted in different videos you may watch it, you may not have, talking about Xavier Worthy. He was the receiver from Texas that I wanted. He was the receiver from Texas that I think brings the most because of his outrageous speed and what he can do. But Xavier Worthy also a receiver. You look at turn on the film, better route runner than people give him credit for. And that's something that I think about Adonai Mitchell is that he's a better route runner than people are saying. Like if people there's some people out there, scouting reports that I've seen that where they say he can only run or he's best at the vertical routes. And yes, that's true. He's good with the vertical routes. Something that he did prolifically in college was the vertical routes, right? The go routes, the posts, the digs, those types of things that he was good at and that he can make work and that he has a good repertoire of moves for those routes. But yes, he can do more when you turn on the tape. Like he can polish it up, he can clean it up, he can become more consistent route in and route out, right? And but that's something that you would assume working with Reggie Wayne, he's going to work on in time, right? That's something they're going to work on. They're going to get his footwork down. They're going to make sure he becomes more consistent, not only down to down, but game to game. That's something else that I saw was that from game to game, there's a possibility of his intensity being different, right? Maybe one game he's super juiced up, maybe one game he's not. We need to get him to be even keeled each and every game and be able to produce. Again, with a guy like Reggie Wayne, a guy like Michael Pittman Jr. in the room, I expect that to be something that gets worked on, right? Something else that is kind of a negative for him is not always great as a run blocker, whether it's intensity as a run blocker, willingness to fight through blocks. Those are things that I believe with just being on this team, this specific team, like that's just going to get worked out of him. He's going to understand that he's got to come on the field and play his role, right? Alec Pierce does it. Josh Downs does it. You see Michael Pittman Jr., one of the better receiver run blockers in the NFL. Like, and in Shane Steichen's system, you need to be able to do it. So he's going to come in. They're going to be on him about being able to block, holding your block, having the effort there when you need to block. They're going to be on top of him about it. So everything with him from the receiver part to the blocking part of the job, I just think he's better than a lot of people give him credit for at some of the things that he gets knocked for, which is why people were talking about him being a first round wide receiver. Yes, he got picked 52nd, but this is a guy that all offseason was graded to go in the first round. He just didn't go in the first round because people were talking about, a bad interview or maybe he's disinterested. And somebody that even Chris Ballard mentioned needs to be humbled a little bit. So maybe there is some of that, right? This is a guy that has been on really good teams, right? He played for Georgia when they were winning their national championships, right? Played in 15 games his freshman year, started 12 of them for the national champions. Even though he only had 29 catches, 426 yards, and 4 touchdowns, he was making plays for the national championship. And then the next year, he played in 6 games with 3 starts, but that season had 9 catches, 134 yards, 3 touchdowns. He missed 9 games due to an ankle injury that season. So it wasn't like he came off the field and was replaced by somebody else. He just ended up getting hurt, didn't get to play, but they still won the national championship because Georgia was really good. Then you look at when he goes to Texas, he gets second team All Big 12 conference in 2023, led the team with 11 receiving touchdowns that season, played in all 14 games, with 13 of those being starts. He had 55 catches, 845 yards, and 4 touchdowns that season. So, all in all, coming out of the 2023 season, AD Mitchell came out and again was a consummate first round wide receiver. Everything that he showed, and a lot of people are talking about like what he did in the Alabama game when he was with Georgia, had the game in Lucas Oil Stadium and just absolutely went off. If he can be that every game in the NFL, then he's going to be one of the better receivers in the NFL. And that's the kind of stuff that Chris Ballard, Shane Steichen, Reggie Wayne, they're going to try to get that out of AD Mitchell each and every game. And if we can get that, then we have one of the better receiver trios in the league all of a sudden, right? You put Michael Pittman Jr., one of the best receivers in the league, Josh Downs, one of the best rookies last year. You expect him to take another step up. Then you have AD Mitchell coming in. Like everything that the Bengals wide receiver core has been, the Colts could be that and more, right? Then you have a dynamic quarterback in Anthony Richardson. You have Jonathan Taylor in the backfield, one of the best running backs, one of the best playmakers in the NFL. Like all of a sudden, the Indy offense looks crazy when you throw in AD Mitchell and what he can be. We just need what he can be to show up consistently on Sundays. Okay. When you talk about athleticism for this guy, he has a 9.99. Okay. The RAS goes up to 10. He has a 9.99 arm length at 32.375. He is just over 6'2", 205 pounds. So we talk so much about getting T. Higgins and whether or not the Colts should find a way to go after T. Higgins, whether it was going to be in free agency or whether that's now going to be in a trade to try to trade for a guy on a franchise tag. Well, you don't need to do that. You basically went and got a carbon copy of T. Higgins, carbon copy of Justin Jefferson in terms of size, in terms of athleticism. You look at the RAS for Justin Jefferson, and it's actually Adonai Mitchell is actually better than Justin Jefferson in terms of athletic scoring, right? I'm not saying he's a better receiver. Justin Jefferson was always going to be one of the best receivers in the league. You could just watch him in college and understand that. But when you look at AD Mitchell, right, 4.34 40-yard dash. He has a 39.5-inch vertical, and his broad jump is almost 11.5. Like this dude, the explosiveness, the speed that he possesses, and his agility, right? He didn't even do agility testing, but you just turn on the tape and you watch him play. The change of direction is there, right? Which is why he can be such a good route runner, because the change of direction is so good, the stop and start, and being able to shift his weight for as big as he is, again, 6'2", 205, being able to move the way he does is really good. So coming in, I expect AD Mitchell to be a factor on this team. We're going to talk more about AD Mitchell and what the role is going to be. There's talk about, maybe Alec Pierce and people thinking that Alec Pierce really is still going to be the number 2 receiver. I'm going to look more into that and see whether or not I believe that's going to be the case. Shane Steichen isn't Frank Reich. Okay, the best players are going to play. That's just the way it's going to be. Okay, he's not going to sugarcoat things. He's not going to be nice to players that he's loyal to. Okay, this is a much different time than the Frank Reich regime, and I think there are some fans that are still stuck in the way that Frank Reich would do things. Okay, AD Mitchell is going to be a problem for people, and Shane Steichen, I feel like, is going to realize that by the time rookie minicamp's done, by the time training camp's done. We'll probably have a new number 2, but again, we're going to talk more about this in depth. So make sure you subscribe with notifications on so you continue to get notified as any of these videos come about draft picks, about free agency. So much to talk about as we continue to go forward. So want your opinion on all of it. Make sure you're getting notifications for all of these videos. And of course, appreciate you joining me for another video. And as always, take care of yourself, take care of each other, and go Colts.